girls are taught that that they are the temptation for men,
So
and
true.
right, and the men are taught the same thing, but just in the reverse. Like, don't stare at girls, like, don't whatever, because you don't want to be tempted to lust, right?
Hmm.
But it's but it's always about the woman, right? The
Right.
woman
It
needs to
lands on
cover
our
up.
response. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's our responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen.
Right. Which then, when assault happens,
Yeah.
when date rape happens, when those boundaries are pushed, or whatever, the women will internalize it, and the men will dismiss it as just who we are. Right. This is we are just.
Hmm.
It's her fault. She shouldn't have looked that way. She shouldn't have
Right.
dressed that way.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I dealt with a lot of that in the church. Absolutely. Yeah, the purity thing is, I think, is way out of balance. And the church at the last church I went to, they were very much into the purity. They had actually more for, I don't even know if they had one for the girls, but I know they had one for the boys, a purity class that they had to go through.
Hmm.
And what was interesting is one of the leaders ended up being a wolf in sheep's clothing within the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what got to me even more, okay, they became aware of that and they didn't stop it.
Yep. Right.
Even after they became aware of it, because they didn't have enough leaders in the church to run all these ministries they had. So I guess it's better to have a toxic leader
Yeah.
than not to have the ministry at all. And I mean, it took them, when he was exposed, and it fortunately wasn't anything against the boys, but it was still,
Right.
he should not have been in ministry. They allowed him to stay in ministry for months and months and months. You know when it stopped it? Is when a woman spoke up,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then it got stopped.
Yeah, and what is unfortunate is that, um, because of this sort of male headship, because this idea that women are the source of temptation, um, it causes um, it causes these kinds of things to be worse, because the initial response for a lot of people is like, well, what was she wearing? What was she doing? Why? What was the thing that she did to make him feel that way? And I've heard just these horrifying stories. So whenever I post about this kind of stuff on TikTok, just horrifying stories about
Hmm.
somebody, a professional, religious professional at their church, did something to them, and when they spoke up about it, they said, well, he confessed and said that he was tempted, and he's gonna stop or whatever, and it never has to go through therapy or step down or like literally anything at all. Yeah, yeah.
It's so common. And you know, I know why it happened in my church. I know it's because
Hmm.
they didn't have enough leaders.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want to, they if they would remove this person, then they probably wouldn't be able to do this particular ministry. But why do you think
Right.
that the churches, because honestly, I mean, I've seen this is kind of a norm, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, and I would say that it's a norm in conservative, evangelical, and fundamentalist churches. It is not a norm in more progressive streams of Christianity. And so, um, those places are very different. They teach very different things about the body. They teach very
Yeah.
different things about women and their role in church. They have female pastors and female bishops, and right, it's a totally different animal when you go into those more progressive spaces. Um, and I mean, they everybody has their problems. This is
Right.
just not one of them for those people, because for them, what they try to do is they try to teach in the way that science says, like body positivity. Love your body. Your body can do wonderful things. It can create very wonderful sensations. You don't have to be afraid of your body. Your body is not a source of temptation,
Yeah.
right? You can enjoy your body, and no one gets to tell you what to do with your body except for you, right? And that's an important thing. So that's, in more progressive spaces, religious spaces, that's what they'll say. Like, you get to choose what to do with your body, how
Yeah.
you want to enjoy your body, and how you have bodily autonomy. Nobody can do that. And you shouldn't try to take that away from anybody. Now, when it's the other side of it, in the sort of evangelical fundamentalist streams, it is, and this is, I grew up, so I'm talking firsthand knowledge of that, right? You are taught that somebody else, the pastor, the book on dating by some random person, those people get to tell you how you can use your body, right? Those people get to tell you what is okay, and you need to be afraid of and ashamed of your body, right? Our bodies are sexual, and that's one of the things, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying and exploring sexuality, right? That is, your body is made for that. And it's not just made to procreate. It feels really good. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so, but when it's externalized, right? When somebody else gets to tell you that, well, all of a sudden now we have this other layer of issues, right? Because when we are, when we move through, like, who is it that's going to tell me? Well, again, the pastor's going to tell me what I should do in my relationship with my partner, right? And all of a sudden, when we lose agency over our body and over our sexuality,
Yes.
that creates all kinds of really awful dynamics with partners and with ourselves. Absolutely.